What's up everyone, Strange1 back here and welcome back to another Division 2 loadout video. Now, I'm making a lot more Division 2 content. TU6 drops next week, and you guys have seemed to love my Division videos. It is my most productive ones, my most efficient ones. So I'm going to keep pumping these out for you guys because, I don't know, you guys seem to enjoy this. So in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys it's very strong. I have it labeled here as PvP build, but essentially it's not fully a PvP build just because it does not have an eagle bearer right now. So the main point of this video is showing off a gun that I fully think could become top of the meta in this upcoming title update, since the P416 is getting nerfed, the eagle bearer is getting a small nerf. And we're gonna start seeing new guns come into the fold. Now this build is also very good for PvE. It's very good. It has low armor stats, which I'm not happy with, but as you can kind of see by looking at just the mod slots I have on right now, it's a lot of offensive mods. If I wanted to, I could swap out some of these offensive mods for pieces that have defensive mods and buff my armor, but my stats on this, you can see 2 perks aren't actually active as well. I gotta swap out Unstoppable Force for something else, so I'm still fixing that part of this build. Otherwise, it's a perfect build. So, I'm just gonna show you quickly the damage stats. For ARs, the thing melts. It's about a 60% increase. So, I'll get over how I got that high in a little bit. But first, I'm gonna show you the gun that kind of makes this whole build fun. And I talked about this in my last video. It's my MK16. Love this gun. It's a slower RPM, so it's not top of the line. It's not your P416s, which have 750 RPM. Or, yeah, 750, okay, just making sure. But this has 650, but I do have Allegro on it. So put it up to 688. I'm pretty sure it's a 650 RPM. Where's my other one? I have another P416 somewhere. I guess I don't. Anyway, we'll just get on with the MK16. Now the reason I love this gun is it hits like a fucking truck. Alright. The max damage I believe you can get with it is 24k, so this is almost max roll. 23.3k for this roll. I modified close and personal on it for this one. I like closer personal, or I like ranger. I like a significant increase in my damage, so I chose close and personal for that reason. It's so much fun. I think this will be a top of the line perk as well. Obviously I have Allegro, and then the holster perk it doesn't really affect me on high-end gears. Obviously for exotic gears it's going to matter more. So talents, I know they're important, trust me. And I'd probably change this one out in the recal station, but I already recaled this, so I cannot. So for right now, I'm sticking with transmission. It's not that much really essential. For my mods on it, I've got the C79 scope, which you get from a side mission. It's a secret side mission. Look up a video on that on YouTube. I would do it, but I've already done them all, so I'd have to make a new character. I'll eventually put it out though. So yeah, so the C79 scope adds a 5% damage to elites increase, and what it also does is actually it procs the preparation perk on the Nemesis. So you could equip a Nemesis for this. It increases your damage then by 20% with the headshots when you're using this scope, and you actually don't have to zoom in as well because it still counts. My magazine, I'm using a 5.56 magazine slot extended rounds. You get it very early on, so I always slide it on. It gives me 40 in my mag. Kind of high end, I guess. 60 is preferred, so not the highest. For my long underbarrel rail, I prefer stability there. I like to keep my gun in a certain spot at all times. Don't like it moving around a lot, so I like to slap mobility or stability on there. And then my muzzle, I have a 5.56 muzzle slot for just 5% more damage to elites, because my damage to elites number is very high in this build. My secondary is the Chatterbox. The Chatterbox is pretty self-explanatory. a lot of people have it. If you don't have it, I can make a video on that as well on my next character. So expect to see that soon. I've got to upgrade this baby actually. But no matter. Sidearm. Sidearm doesn't really matter unless you're making a pistol build. So go ahead and choose whatever you like. I chose the Survivalist D50 for this, just because I have it. You can use a Liberty if you don't want to use a Chatterbox. Or you could use your Nemesis, obviously. So the first piece of armor that I chose is not really significant on the brand set. The brand set, you can obviously pick up a Fenris mask for that 10% increase to AR damage. I have it on my chest piece and I don't really need the second stat bonus for Fenris, so I decided to just pick up a Richter and Kaiser. You know, more hazard protection is always a good thing. This also dropped with 33% increase to damage to the elites. I made it sound weird. Anyway, and then also 4% critical hit chance, which I do plan to change out to critical hit damage, because I feel like if you are a good shot, critical hit chance does not matter. And then my talent also is 10% damage to elites with hard hitting, and it does have a mod, does not have a mod slot. I don't know, I could see it from there. Don't know what I'm saying. My next piece, as I went over slightly, is my Fenris chest piece. No, vest, come on. So used to Destiny. So the reason I chose Fenris is because I wanted one piece of Fenris gear, because it gives you that 10% additional assault rifle damage, which goes all into this AR type-ish kind of build. The attributes I have on it are 9.5% weapon damage increase, 11% headshot damage, and 5% critical hit chance. If I had the chance to, I would change the 5% critical hit chance to critical hit damage, so I can keep building up that damage. The talents for this is I do have hard hitting on here, and I just realized I actually cannot swap out my unstoppable force, which does suck. Now I could switch to this one, which has rifle damage, which doesn't really affect this build, but it does have 8.5% weapon damage and 9% increase to headshot damage, with also that huge armor buff. But it does not have that 10%. If I get a roll with a Fenris roll with 10% AR damage, weapon damage, and like any other, probably headshot damage still the same, and have a defensive attribute, I definitely would pick that one over this one. But for right now, this has the highest damage roll. It has, you know, if I could get my defense up, I have a very good defensive talent on there. So this could potentially be very good, but I don't see my defensive numbers going up. I'm sitting at the 12.31, so I don't see it going up to a 7 anytime soon. Next is my backpack. This one is almost a mainstay of every single one of my builds, just because of the armor that I get on it. And I actually recently upgraded it. Oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. The mods on this. I have a defensive? Since when? Alright. I'll just slap on one of my highest armor piece ones. There we go. That just improved the build a bit. So for this mod slot, we're using the 6.5% increase to armor. For my, I'll let you guys know a little secret. It's not much of a secret, but when I look at defensive mods, I think, what do I need the most? I think armor is my most important. So I always look for the highest armor rolls. Obviously, if I get, sorry, if I get good other stuff, it's a bonus. But my main priority is getting the increased armor, so I can take more hits while also dealing more damage in this build. So this one has a mod slot as well. And it's an offensive. Bruh, why am I not seeing this? Okay. Wow, okay. So yeah, this backpack is a mainstay in every single one of my builds. I don't like taking it out, just because of the increased armor it gives me. Say if I swap to this one, I'm down to 20k. All these pretty much give me down to 20k. My ongoing directive is actually an increase, so that's nice to see. I use Badger Tough for that increased damage to elites. I said it weird again, but who gives a shit? And then also, if I can get another armor piece with a Badger Tough brand set, I can actually get armor percent on kill, which would then increase my defensive capabilities as I'm putting out more damage. Meaning that this could potentially be even more optimized if I really wanted to. The attributes I have on it are 7.5% total armor, 11,000 armor, 6.6% weapon damage, and 2% critical hit chance. Again, if I was able to modify something, I would change critical hit chance to critical hit damage. I don't have any talents on here, which sucks because I'd like it on the ropes if I could potentially get that, but I don't have enough utility. I would like potentially, obviously, what am I thinking, hard hitting, or actually hardened. Hardened and hard hitting would be a very good build. If this had more optimized armor on this, I would definitely pick this over that backpack I'm using now. It does have a defensive mod slot, so I could potentially put it in, but right now we're going to stick with my Badger Tough. And that is because of the offensive slot that I'm able to slap on here. It gives me increased weapon percent, 1.5% weapon damage, as well as 1% assault rifle critical hit chance, as well as a 2.5% shotgun critical hit damage. So that's not bad. Obviously, I'd like one with critical hit damage for my AR, but that's okay. I can live with this. Next thing we're going to talk about is the gloves you guys saw a little bit before. I'm looking for a better brand set, but right now this one's going to suffice. It does have assault rifle damage of 12% increase, which is huge, and it does have clutch, which is able to be used. And it's very good because you get a lot of critical hits when you're just got that high critical hit chance. That I accidentally bopped pretty high because I'm getting a lot of critical hit chance attributes. Sorry, by the way, I had to yawn because I'm fucking tired. This does have 20% skill haste though, so it does increase my skill power, or my skill, not my skill timing, a bit more. I would like the skill power to go up because it's a a lot of my builds are low skill power. I know skill builds are very strong, but I prefer not to. So there's my verdict on that. And you saw the mod slot. So next we're going to my knee pads. This knee pad is almost on every single build that I use. It's the Overlord Armaments. It's got that 10% rifle damage. So if I want to use, maybe say a Diamondback when it comes back next week, I can use that. And if I get a second one, well then there goes my armor up 7.5%. That's not even adding the attribute of this, which I modified to 13.4k armor, which is probably the best knee pads I own. This is probably the second best because it has patience on it. And it is actually better, but patience is not going to proc while I have hard hitting on here. And this does have a defensive mod slot, which I think is actually why it's higher. This has an offensive with critical hit damage on my AR. So it's a huge offensive increase. I'm taking a risk of choosing offense over defense, but that's what this build is all about. Finally, we move on to the exotic, and you've guys seen this in all of my builds. This is one of the only exotics I ever use. I don't like the BTSU gloves because it prioritizes more on skill play, or not skill play, but like skill builds. And I don't have a good skill build right now. I'm working on that right now. Obviously, when the new knee pads come out, I'll probably slap those on 100% in this build because you can put out a shockwave when you slam in the cover. And it is very good. So, I mean, you guys can look at the perks, the talents here. It's in like, I'm pretty sure it's in all 3 of my build videos. Go give that a look. This pairs very well with the Liberty, which I do recommend you go and grind. Now, my 2 skills that I'm using are actually focused on healing me and reviving me, since I have a low defensive capability. And I don't have high skill power, so I don't need to worry about doing a lot of skill damage. So I use the Reinforcer Chem Launcher to give myself health. You see this everywhere, everyone uses it. It is not a surprise. The other one I use the Revive Hive. I love this thing. It never leaves my loadout. It is always equipped. It is always going to be on it. I love the ability to revive myself. I love the ability to throw it and revive someone else without having to risk myself. All those are good. We're going to go through the stats. Obviously, Unstoppable Force does not matter here. So even just looking at my talents right now, I have 30% damage to elites increase. That's not even counting the mods on my weapons. That's not even counting any mods on my armor, talents on my armor, anything. Just from 3 talents alone. And then we get to the damage numbers. And right now I'm just sitting at 23.4k. That's my weapon damage. That's my MK16. Let's see if I swap that. Yeah. So you see. That's all it is. So this really doesn't matter. I got 12% critical hit chance, 27% critical hit damage, and 66% headshot damage. That's not including the 20% buff. I think it's actually nerfed on the Nemesis down from 20% to 15%. So that number is going to change as well. Moving on to the offensive part, my weapon handling is irrelevant. My weapon damage, though, is 24.5%. That can 100% go up, even more if I get a better kind of optimized build. My AR damage, though, is at a pretty high number. I'd like to get it up at least to 45. It's sitting at 37%, so overall, that can definitely go up. I'm getting distracted by the audio in the background. That's annoying. Everything else doesn't really matter because I'm using mainly... I can't even speak English. I'm using mainly... Oh my god. I'm using mainly my AR or my SMG. I have no SMG damage bonus to this build because it's all my LMG, because I was playing around with some builds right now. So I would move that LMG damage over to my SMG, my marksman, or just my rifle damage. Because those are the 3 other weapons I'd use in this build. I'd use a Nemesis, I'd use a Diamondback, I'd use my Merciless or my Chatterbox. Those are the other ones I'd worry about, but my main focus is my AR damage. And then if you look at my damage to elites, it's sitting at 80%. So this thing will shred through enemies, and that's not even including the chance of having close and personal procced with your 80% damage to elites and your damn near 65% damage to everything else. Again, to our defensive stats, I'm sitting at 237k armor. That can definitely be increased if I do some tweaking here and there, but I would like to keep my high damage rolls so it's not going to get tweaked that much. My health, I do not really care for. All I like to put it on is armor, which it's a matter of preference. So I get no armor and kill. My armor regeneration is at 11k. And the rest is kind of all just there. My skill haste is 20% due to that one talent, and then my skill power is very low, so this is not a skill power build. Do not worry about playing as a skill power build. And yeah, I'm also using Survivalist. It's been the one I've always been on. I don't recommend really anything else. You can obviously use what you prefer for this build. This thing does do some damage in PvP, but it's not a top tier PvP build. I've definitely gotten outshot easily by most guns, but it can hold its own. It can defend its own. You don't have to worry about, not getting any kills in the match, because you will. I've used it in PvP, like I said. It does a very good job. Darkstone, it does a very, very good job. Conflict, not so much, but that's Conflict. It's just reigned by Eagle Bears right now. So, with all that being said, everyone, I want to thank you guys for your continued support on my Division 2 videos. I said this last video, I got some Destiny 2 content brewing up. I'm just trying to find the right place to make them. Because like I think I said in the last video, I got some stuff going on. My real life work. I got a new promotion actually just today or yesterday. And I got a girl now. So finding time is gonna be a little difficult, but I'm gonna make time for you guys. So definitely be ready to see more Division 2 content with TU6 dropping next week, and then some Destiny 2 content with some Iron Banner also dropping next week. I'm gonna be a very busy man. Thank you, Isaac. So with all that being said, guys, thank you again. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day. Take care, agents.